This is Rudy Cecera with ScreenComment.com, and I'm interviewing the short film programmer, Sharon Badal. Give you a little background. Sharon was very instrumental in some information she gave me last year, so I just thought that maybe the information she was giving me, other people would love to hear about.
Sure.
And I'm going to keep the interview focused just on shorts, because there are obviously a lot of generic questions that apply to both features and shorts, but since you're the short film programmer, we'll just focus on that. And, you know, considering one of the reasons, another reason I wanted to have this interview with you is I actually believe, and I'm not just saying this, but I think considering short films are usually the stepping stone for, it's usually a filmmaker's first entree into a festival. Mm-hmm. And considering that you could see 6 short films for the price of one feature, I actually think they're the backbone of most film festivals because, you know, the short filmmakers of today are the feature filmmakers of tomorrow. Right. So I think learning about the short film process is going to be very interesting to filmmakers. Mm-hmm. So, okay, how is the short, I noticed over the years, the short films, obviously, they grow. You get more and more submissions each year. Mm-hmm. How has the selection process changed over the years, considering the number of short films that you get? I think it's like 2,800 this year.
Yeah, we had almost 2,900 this year. I don't think we've changed the process that much. I think what we've done is I have a co-programmer, Ben Thompson, and I have now dedicated screeners. So they are professionals that work in the industry that I can trust. And we all have a quota, myself included, and we all have target dates. Because the last thing you want is to feel like you're rushing to finish watching. Right. You know, you want to avoid the avalanche. So I think what we've done is really setting these goalposts has helped us keep on track so that we're done screening the submissions, and then we can actually think about the selections. Because the screening's only the first part. Then it's that, you know, narrowing it down, Ben and I watching the top picks from the screeners, and sitting with all those top picks and just keep culling it down until we get to, like we did this year, 60. Okay.
Well, it's, you know, it's interesting now, the theme. Now, I would imagine, do the films make the theme, or do you have the theme set up before the films come in? In other words,
yeah, I hear you.
You're not sitting around going, we need a movie for worst day ever. No. You're looking at the films and you're organizing your themes from the films that you get. Is that
actually,
how it works?
Yeah. The themes magically reveal themselves based on the films that we love. In fact, the title is the last thing that goes on. And it's only after we've actually constructed that program and we look at it and say, okay, what is a nice thematic thread that binds all of these together, and the title comes last. The only exception to that is our New York Shorts program, because I always know that, you know, we want to do a special New York Shorts program, but nope, they that's the end point. That's okay. The end point. So well, we're not, so that's one of the things filmmakers always ask is, you know, are you looking for specific types of films, or and I say no, you know, there aren't predestined themes that we're looking to fill.
Right. Well, you're right about the title. You can't, because some of the titles you would think are comedies and they're dark, and some of the dramas you would think are dark and they're funny. Right. So you can't go by the title. Do you have an opinion as to what genre works better in the short film format? Comedy, drama, documentary type? Well, not documentary, obviously.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have 2 separate doc shorts program, and that's a very different audience, you know, and that's a different curation in a way. But for narratives, I think the audience expectation is that they're going to have a variety within the program. So we try, actually, to include both comedic and dramatic shorts within the program and make that journey. So we're either going to start dramatic and end comedic, or vice versa, depending on what the strongest films are, and we want to always end a program with the very strong films so that the audience is excited about it. In general, people like to laugh.
Yeah.
You know, you'd rather have them be in a good mood at the end of the screening than a bad one. So comedies work really well to round out a program.
Well, you're preaching to the choir. I'm a comedy writer, so I like hearing that. And you know, by the way, you are totally correct, because yesterday at the worst day
Yeah, worst day ever.
It's still no, yeah. When you introduced them, you were dead on. You said we're going to start dark, and then we're going to go someplace, and then we're going to make you laugh. And
Yeah.
you know, ending it the way that you did was genius.
Yeah.
You know, you do like to end strong.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And you certainly did. What did you get more this year? Comedies or dramas?
Well, that's my biggest piece of advice to any filmmaker around the world, no matter who you are. If you're funny, for God's sakes, make a comedy.
Right.
Because 90% of the films are dramas.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that's because there's a fallacy that in order to be taken seriously, a filmmaker has to make a serious film, a dramatic film.
Right.
But really, comedy is just as hard, if not harder. And so, you know, there is, speaking for every film festival out there, we're desperate for more good comedies, always, every year.
Oh, wow, that's good to know. It's funny because I asked Janae Lamarck of The Pretty One, what does she think is harder, drama or comedy? And she said comedy.
Yeah, because
She
the
said
timing
because
has
it's-
to be right on.
Yeah, and it's also very, it's an internal struggle sometimes to get someone to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it's harder. Who said it? Walter Matthau. Someone said it. It's easier to get a tear than a laugh.
Yeah.
Might have been Anne Bancroft. It's probably everybody because it happens to be true. Despite the lengths of the shorts, they still have to have a rating system. So do you use like an R rating, a PG rating, a G rating for some of the shorts?
No, when they play in the festival, the caveat to the ticket buyer is that these are unrated.
Oh, okay.
So although in the past, if we've had a stronger program, we have put the moniker on it, recommended for 14 and up, or
Okay.
for something like that. But no, we don't really. They're not defined in the same way that a feature would be defined ratings-wise.
Well, I'm just because some people may bring. I saw some children at some of the screenings, and sometimes if they don't know. But I guess there's not too many raunchy shorts.
We're not really showing R.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, well, most shorts are not R-rated.
Or, for example, if you're going to go see the genre program called Deadbolt, that's pretty indicative that there's going to be some stuff in there that
Right, you got to
might not
use
be
a little
suitable.
common
Yeah,
sense,
yeah.
self-control there. Yeah.
But we wouldn't show. I wouldn't show anything X-rated. I wouldn't show anything that would be really offensive.
Right. There are more male filmmakers than female ones. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But percentage-wise, do you get for the short program? Do you get more male directors or female directors, or is it even?
To be honest with you, I don't even know until we do the final selections if the filmmaker is male or female, because I don't watch the end credits. I don't really pay attention to
Right,
that
you don't
when
have
I'm
time,
watching.
probably, right?
Well, I don't want it to be in my head. So
Mm-hmm.
so I'm always surprised when we actually invite, and I'll say to Ben, so who do we have? How many female filmmakers do we have? And this year I believe we had 17 out of 60.
Okay.
Which is fair.
It's a good ratio. Yeah,
It's
good.
okay.
It's
I'd
probably
like
a
it
better
higher.
ratio than the features.
I'd like it higher,
Yeah.
But that is, we're not selecting based on that. So,
Well, no, of course
so
not.
I don't really know in terms of submissions how many are male or how many female.
I was just curious if the short films was kind of an area where more females kind of went into, but I guess it's if it's your first film, it's your first film, whether you're male, female. If it's a short, first films are usually short films. So.
In my experience, that ratio, male to female ratio, pretty closely mirrors general industry feature stuff.
Well, they're not as lengthy as features. A short film has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the fact that you could watch 6 to 8 short films in the same time that you could watch a feature, I'm just curious, do you think in some way short films could be more entertaining than features? Because you kind of get to the point very quickly in some of them. And, you get that beginning, that middle, and an end, and no one's really looking at their watch in a short, in the short film block, whereas sometimes if you're at a feature, you could be like, you know what I mean? So in that area, the fact that they're so regimented that way, do you think that they're more entertaining in some way?
I think it's a different viewing experience. I think that when you watch a feature, it's a different emotional investment and a time investment. So I think, for the public's increasingly short attention span,
Right.
shorts are entertaining for them. It's
Right.
it's just a nice little beat. It's I do think they're more conducive at the moment to our attention spans in a particular environment. I mean, I love features. I especially love doc features, but shorts are a different movie-going experience, especially in the theater, because if you choose to go to a shorts program, you know what to expect, and you know that if short number 3 you absolutely don't like it, that short number 4 is coming down the pike in a few minutes.
Right.
So you know what I mean. It's a different kind of investment.
I think it's. Yeah, I think it's more. There's more energy in just going to see, because again, that one's over, this one's coming. That one's, you know what I mean. I saw it the other day, because some of the people knew some of the filmmakers, and like, oh, so and so's film's coming up. I mean, with a feature, you don't really get that. And you're right about the attention span, unfortunately, but true.
Unfortunately,
Are shorts? Well, shorts I would imagine are easier to produce than features, because there's just less involved.
Right.
You think in the film world, though, because they are easier to produce, and you think that, say, maybe the quality of the shorts sometimes could be better than a feature, because you have all your assets and energy focused on this 8 minutes. So you're really putting everything into that 80 minutes, as opposed to a feature that's 90 minutes. So do you think maybe in some ways the quality of the shorts is better? Like, is there a short that could be a great short as opposed to a cheap feature? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've talked to some filmmakers, and their shorts cost more than some of the features.
I know.
So, I mean...
Well, I think that's the thing. There's such a wide variety of levels of technology in the shorts. You have somebody taking, shooting something very kind of raw and editing it on their computer, and then you have someone spending $25,000-$50,000 on a short. So
Right.
I think what you find with the shorts is there's such a range of quality in them.
Okay.
And technical quality especially.
Right. Well, yeah, it's. I think it's more experimental sometimes. The shorts. That format lends itself more to experiment. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Like the one short that was in The Worst Day Ever, the animated one. That as a feature would probably cost, a lot of money. It probably can't. It's not. It works better as a short.
Yeah.
Financially and probably,
Right. I think you're absolutely right. Shorts are the breeding ground for experimentation. For trying out an idea, even a feature idea. You want to see, you write a feature script. Maybe you shoot a short that contains a scene from your feature script to see how it looks, see how it plays, see if it's something that you then want to dedicate a couple years of your life to.
Oh yeah.